that you have concerning the Beltway. I do know that there's a couple of meetings scheduled with a couple of different groups and you all's different subgroups of the convoys today that are coming actually into Washington, D.C. that will not, I repeat, will not be coming by truck, but apparently you're taking either a bus or some other mode of transportation who have scheduled meeting with their congressional representative at the U.S. Capitol. U.S. Capitol Police has been notified. They're on task to handle that to facilitate getting you in. Each individual group should have a U.S. Capitol Police contact to ensure that that goes smoothly and safely. As far as bringing the actual trucks, the rigs into D.C., there's nowhere in District of Columbia where an 18-wheeler rig or portions thereof is allowed to park either on a meter or any residential or business area. So this is what's going to happen with that. If you come in, you will be asked to leave. If you don't leave, then what will happen is this. We will try to get you to leave very peacefully, very calmly. But if you still refuse to go, then we will have no other alternative but to place you under arrest. Now, if that happens, here's the risk and parameters of you being arrested for violation of the law of the District of Columbia. There's a possibility that your CDL will be affected. Your truck will be towed. If you have children with you and there's no one in your family to take the children, then your children will go to the Child Protective Services until you get out.
I have a question to that.
Mr. Claus.
So is our plane just
I'll just make sure you're still on the line.
Just a second, they're coming up.
Any other questions?
Yeah, are we allowed on the highway? There's a lot of questions.
One person at a time and ask me the question.
Are we allowed on the highway and not to park anywhere? Can we drive on the highway? Are we allowed to drive on the highway?
On the Beltway, I do not.
Beltway. Yeah, can we actually drive on public road, public transportation on a public road without stopping and parking?
So you're talking about taking public transportation.
We're talking about our trucks, our vehicles on public roads. Are we allowed to drive along a public road, or are you going to stifle that from us?
Are you talking about on the Beltway?
Yes, on a public road. We're not talking about stopping along the side of the road. We're not talking about parking.
I understand that. So please, for my clarification, so that I can give you the right answer, are you talking about driving your truck on the Beltway without stopping to make loops and laps around the Beltway?
Yes, we would like to drive our vehicles
Not everybody.
without stopping, okay? Our legal right to make transportation on a public road. Are we allowed to do that? Without stopping. Without breaking the law.
Yes, you are, as long as it's in the state of Maryland or Virginia.
Oh, so as long as it's in America, right? On publicly paved roads, publicly transported roads.
Yes, if you're on the U.S. Capitol Beltway, 395, 695, Maryland and Virginia State, you can contact them, but yes, they will allow you to
I have a question.
make laps around the Beltway. It was done yesterday, and there was no issues with it.
I have a question.
All right, Mr. Cole, got another question.
No problem.
Okay, concerning his about driving on the Beltway. It is my understanding that 300 foot of the Beltway is actually in the District of Columbia at the Woodrow Wilson Bridge, or under it actually. Is that considered, even if we cross over the top of the corner of District of Columbia on the Beltway, is that considered federal land, or is that considered public property like the rest of the Beltway?
On the water, okay, so the bridge covers over the water. So the water is actually DC, but there's a memorandum of understanding with Virginia State Police. So any incidents on that bridge, Virginia State Police will handle. So my suggestion to you is to reach out to Virginia State Police to assess that situation and make the proper determination. They can give you the proper answer for that, because I don't want to answer for something that we're not actually going to handle.
Okay, so it's a trap.
Who else has a question they'd like to ask? Come here close to the phone, baby, and ask them straight.
Well, the reason I said about that 300 foot is because that is where the trap will be, guys. That will be where the trap
Who else
is.
has a question? Anybody else want to ask a question? Come on, come get close to me and speak right in the phone, brother.
Has habeas corpus been suspended? In other words, as a U.S. citizen, I'm not allowed to use the roads of my country or come into the capital of my country?
That's a great question for your representative.
No, it's not. This is the law.
With the camera in front of their face with them answering.
They don't cover it. Kip, are you there?
I'm here. I just got out of the way.
Not
Misunderstanding this. Misunderstanding. We can go on the roads. They don't still want us in the district.
However,
The fact is,
we also have to
Let me get on the
consider
phone with the Maryland police.
safety
I can't hear. Hang
We'll
on.
talk about this after the call.
We also have to consider the safety of the city and to allow emergency vehicles and people who are needing immediate medical attention to pass through. So we have to keep those roadways clear for those instances, because you're actually in a city. You're not on like a highway like the beltway. The beltway is a continuous loop. So Virginia, Maryland State handled that. They did it yesterday. There was no issues, no problems. I think they did it twice, and it was like an hour and a half that they rode around the beltway. It wasn't a problem. They exercised their First Amendment right.
Exactly.
I have a question.
Come see, buddy. Do me a favor, if y'all will. I'm gonna stay over here out of the wind. If I'm not blowing y'all's eardrums. If you got a question, just come right here and we're gonna ask him from here. Mr. Claw, give me a sound check real quick. Just say something. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Hello, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
We got it.
My question is, we don't take the big rigs into DC. We take a group of cars as a group of convoy. If you have an issue with that, as long as it's not interrupt traffic, and just do it like a drive, a loop around DC.
As long as it's not interfering or impeding with traffic and all traffic laws in the District of Columbia, I'll obey all which columns for that. But you have to follow the DC Department of Transportation for all regulations regarding tractor trailers and stuff like that. There are several bridges within the District of Columbia that do have weight limits. So they will probably, because the structure.
Don't take big trucks. Don't take the semis. Take cars and just pickup trucks. And if we got 50 to 100 trucks and cars, as long as we're all staying together as a group and not completely shutting down traffic, is that going to be an issue?
It should not be an issue, but I would say at this time, it's not going to be permissible because, again, even with 50 to 100, 200 cars, we have to also think about the impact on traffic and safety that it's going to have for the people who are here who are taking alternative modes of transportation. If you want to come into the district, then I would suggest taking the metro.
Well, the reason I'm asking that is because you guys easily have more than 100 cars that show up in a day. 100 cars is going to make a huge difference into traffic. Because, I mean, in a half hour, you have more than 100 cars come in and out. So, what's the issue with just 100 vehicles coming through, waving some flags, and just cruising through, showing our support? Because, I mean, everybody loves the police, and we support our nation. We just want to cruise around as a group and use our American freedom.
A libtard strategically disguised as a Republican
Here's what I'll say to that.
and trash it.
The Metropolitan Police Department does not infringe upon anybody's rights to exercise their First Amendment assembly. But when that First Amendment assembly it gets beyond the point of just exercising your First Amendment assembly, and you're asked to stop and vacate, refuse to do so, tends to lead you into another realm, which then will be addressed at that time.
Right, well, we didn't.
So they're saying we can assemble only if they want us to?
Traffic or refuse to leave. There'd be really no reason to leave if we're just cruising around. I mean,
How are they going to ask you if you're driving?
Around in some circles, as long as traffic's still flowing. You guys got plenty of police to make sure that we're not interrupting traffic. You could easily say, hey, keep this moving.
So here's what I'm going to do. I want to introduce a co-worker of mine, Detective Elisa Brown, and she will be able to further assist you in answering your question.
Okay.
Okay? All right? Elisa? Elisa? Hear me? Can you hear me? All right, can you guys hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, cool. This is Detective Elisa Moore. I'm with DC Metropolitan Police Intelligence Branch. To answer your questions in regards to cruising within the District of Columbia, you are allowed to do so in your private vehicles, cars, SUVs, anything but a big rig. Just be sure you obey the traffic laws and regulations. To make things smoother for the citizens of our city, as well as law enforcement, if you can let us know in advance what your route will be, we have enough law enforcement officers that we can facilitate various intersections as far as cutting and pulling traffic. That's what we do. Again, we are not here to disrupt or try to stop you from your First Amendment demonstration. So we would partner with you in order to get this done successfully. Have I answered your question?
No.
Yes, ma'am. I want to ask you one thing though, and
Sure.
got a good relationship with Mr. Paul. When you say big rigs, I want to be clear on this so everybody here knows that everyone's here primarily volatile. And so we hear big rig, we're thinking truck and trailer combo. So I would re-ask the question based on what you just said, so we all have clear knowledge. But an 18-wheeler on 10 tires, or not, let me back up. The truck itself, on 10 tires, you're probably looking 22,000 pounds of truck. Are y'all considering that big rig, being that it's not in commercial, interstate commerce under FMCSR 390.3T? Because we're not engaged in interstate commerce, and we're not considered to be under all this stuff. Then the minus of the weight of the trailer and all that. And then the weight 390.3 and 398.5 on the FMCSR state is that under the pretense that we're not engaged in interstate commerce, and in fact it does become our personal vehicle. So I'm asking that question now.
My question is just asked.
No one's pulling the trailer. No one's engaged.
Okay, that was my question that I was going to clarify.
Can we then be considered by actually how the law is actually written? Can this be thrown around under the pretense of personal use? Because in fact, by law, that's what it is. But in asking that question, and Mr. Floyd brings up a good thing about the weight and all that, what we could do with understanding is to space those trucks out a very good distance, say 200 feet, same thing with a bridge law or split axle trailer, that if allowance were made under the pretense of what we just offered, that in order to help facilitate further comfort for Washington, D.C., the Department of Transportation and whoever else, we would space the trucks out on the bridges, 150, 200 feet. Is that possible?
Okay. With that question, I've just taken notes on it. Our officials are going to call him as soon as I get off this line to find out whether or not you guys can do that. But just about them. My only concerns, and I know this for sure, there's a few bridges in this city that they have limited any heavy vehicles from crossing, and that even includes our fire truck, big ladder truck, because of steel structures that are rusting underneath. They're currently doing this construction now to rectify that problem. That's why I want to know what your route plan, what your route will be. That way we can best facilitate how you come into the city and how you exit.
That would be best. Because it sounds like to me you guys be coming in through the 14th Street Bridge, and then circling around to catch them all.
With
Well, that's a reasonable request because the bridges are under construction.
They want to know if we can get on the 495 under the free that we just offered. Is that possible?
Yes, 495, which is the Capitol Beltway. The Capitol Beltway circles D.C. It does not come into Washington, D.C. The only other interstates that come into D.C. is both 395 and 295. But 495, 95, that circles Washington, D.C. You are fine as long as you are moving on that. They did it yesterday. There was no issues and no problems at all.
Copy that. So we're clear. We are clear to travel to 495 as long as we stay distance apart. Nobody's pulling trailers now. We're cool. We're across the board.
Does she live in Oregon?
I need a question.
I think that answers that question. Is everybody clear on the answer to that question?
Does she live in Oregon?
Does she?
Does she live in Oregon?
She's in Washington, D.C.
She's in Washington, D.C.? Why can't she come down here and talk to us instead of on the phone? We travel thousands and thousands of miles.
Okay. I get it, man. That's argumentative.
No, I want that answer. I want the answer. Yeah, what is it?
They were here yesterday. Who has another question?
I do.
That's it? That's all I get?
I want to make sure.
Are you serious?
I want to make sure
I didn't get an answer. That's it?
that these truckers are here in their roads without a trailer. They're living in these trucks. These are their residences. And I want to make sure that you guys understand that these are here as personal vehicles. They're not here hauling freight. They are here as their personal vehicles. They are also here as their homes. Okay? And as a home, I think that also has different rules as far as search and seizure. Okay? Because if you're going to search somebody's home, you have to have a warrant. Alright? You also have to have probable cause.
No, you literally changed the subject from that to that?
If you want to talk to somebody from DC Police, they're on the ground down there. All you got to do is let me know where you at, Kip, so we can connect the two of you all together. But everything I tell you, they're going to tell you the same thing.
Yeah, let's do this.
You can drive the Capitol Beltway, which will read all of that. The Capitol Beltway.
No, our truckers are here as a personal vehicle. And that's all there is to it.
Here's what I'm going to do.
We don't have a problem with it.
In regards to the route, here's what we're going to do. If y'all give me a second, I want to make sure everybody in the audience, if someone else has a question, we're going to address their question real quick. And I'm going to call you back and we're going to get clarity on the route. Get some stuff wrote down. Mr. Claude and I can shoot a text back and forth. That way we write it down. We know what the hell we got. And everybody's clear. Y'all are happy. We're clear. We're good. We're happy. I think that's a better way to do it. Let's do that. Anyone else have a question?
I want to know the answer as to why you cannot come down here and talk to us in person. I want an answer.
You ready for a response? I'm not just dealing with your convoy. I'm dealing with 45 others. There is a DC Metropolitan Police representative right there on the grounds where your convoy is. I just asked if you guys want to link him up with you all so that you can get the necessary questions answered.
Let's do this.
Why didn't he identify himself?
Do us a favor.
I think they're sitting like right at the gate.
Claude has my number.
When I went to the bathroom, I'm pretty sure.
Because that seems kind of sneaky. If they didn't identify themselves, that's kind of sneaky.
No, they're in his number.
Okay.
I'll lock him in.
Just checking.
I'll find him in person and bring him in, and we'll give him the mic here. We can do that too.
Yeah, that's what we came here for. That's what we came here for.
Who else has a question? We're good. Who else has a question? Anybody else got a question?
No, we're good. We'll call them back with the route.
This gentleman knows right here.
Call them back with the route.
I have a question. Hang
on, let's see who else has a question.
Here.
Who else has a question? Let's come with me. Let's get out of here.
Bureaucrats in Washington. That's my question.
Okay. If truckers were to just walk, not take the truck to DC, we're downtown. Will law enforcement protect these truckers from any bad actors or
other activists?
That's why we need to know your route. It is our mission to keep any counter protesters away from you.
Exactly.
We facilitate peace. We don't have that nonsense here. They want to act a fool, they're going to jail.
You'll either comply or you'll go and stand up and go to jail.
Hey guys, hey in the crowd, if we can calm it down in the crowd just a little bit. Hey guys.
Call them back to the route.
If we can calm it down in the crowd just a little bit, we're putting a lot of noise back in the call and make it where everybody can hear it.
Guys, that's what they want us to do, is fight amongst each other. Exactly. Stop fighting each other. That's not what we came for.
That's what they want. They don't want us united.
Stop it.
Everybody else
We
have
can
a
talk it
question?
out, but everybody gets mad at each other. That's not who we're supposed to be mad at.
The route, just call it.
We're all together.
Thank everyone.
Too close to speaker.
Everyone's agreeing. We're going to set a route up real quick, Mr. Claude and ma'am. We're going to set up a route. We're going to draw out what they want to do. Give us probably 15, 20 minutes if that's good. And then we'll call you back and say, does that sound right?
One more question.
No problem. When you give it to me, I'll write it down, and then I'll send it up to me and Elisa, and I will send it up to the officials, and then we'll give you a call back as to how we can best facilitate that.
Okay, I have one more question. It's important.
I will pass off. I'm going to pass off your phone. Down here on the fairgrounds, so that you can best speak with them in person as well.
Hey, start over with that transmission. I was having trouble getting it set on the mic. Say it again, please.
I'm sorry. I'm going to pass off your phone number and name to my partner who's there on the fairground, so that the two of you can meet face to face.
Yes,
And you
absolutely.
can have a deputy representative.
And for advisement of my location, if you want to just get in front of this direction, now, I'll tell you what, just have him call me. I'm going to go out on the track where he doesn't have to look for a few people.
What we want to do,
I'll
or
get
the
him,
ones that
bring him out,
don't agree with it, they just
bring him
hear
out.
as soon as he gets off the phone. We're just fighting amongst each other.
All right, thank you.
That's going to make a lot of people leave.
Hey, Kip, ask them, make sure it's okay, and we're not going to get in trouble to go do stuff like grocery shopping. You know?
Get everybody on the same page and understand it's not going to happen.
Individually,
Just people who are emotional.
we've been waiting
Oh, I am too.
to unite, to get together on your own. Listen, on your own, on our own. We have nothing. Everybody's on these overpasses. They expect us to unite. We're not going to fight with each other. We have people here
Division ain't
that's
working.
leading us. They're the reasons why we came here organized. Give them time. We can all run off a cliff right now.
Can I ask a question quick? If somebody here has information about what's getting ready to happen here in a little while about a meeting, these guys don't know that. Tell them that so they know there's things happening.
Okay, guys, I don't know anything. I just know that God is ready to bring this nation back under Him. And this is what it is. This is not about us. It's about Him moving His hand, bringing this nation back to Him. But we have to get right in our hearts.
That's right.
And when there's people that's leading us, we all have the right heart here. But we gotta let these guys lead us. We gotta calm down. Because we can wreck this for everybody that's behind us if we're not united. That's all I'm gonna say. God bless every one of you, but don't get twisted up right now.
I don't think I can climb up there. Whoever's truck this is, I apologize. Okay, guys, for those that don't know me, my name's Nicole. Is that better? How's that? How many of you guys rode in here with me yesterday from the Midwest? Okay. Everybody that rode in with me, I think a few of you guys heard me talk yesterday at my rally. Those that met after Indiana did not get a chance. Guys, I'm not a public speaker, so just so you know, I'm like scared. Okay?
Nervous.
You look good. You look good. You got this.
Okay. I want you guys to know what I do for a living. I I travel to nursing homes. I go to nursing homes that have COVID. I go to nursing homes that are short-staffed. And I want you guys to know that when I rode in here, I risked a lot, just like you guys. But I'm ready to tell the secrets that went on in there. And when I tell what went on in there, I risk going to jail alone for that. Not just being here. When I start talking about it. Everybody that was with my group also knows that en route yesterday there was a car accident that involved our convoy, and in that car accident was my daughter. I was in the lead truck with our lead driver, and buddy, he turned that truck around fast, and I had Tracy. Where's Tracy? Over here. I had Tracy take over the route, and I told her to go ahead. And they refused. They pulled over at a rest area, and they waited for me. And the one thing that I told them is that at that point, we're more than friends, and they're more than following me. We're family. What I need you guys to do, I know everybody's pissed. I'm pissed. Okay, I'm pissed that we come over and it's kind of a hot mess right now. We walked into a little bit of a mess. But we do have some people here that know what they're doing, and you need to listen to them. I refuse to walk you guys into a situation or drive you that we're going to go to jail. That's not going to get anything done. Okay, right now we have a small crowd, but we can make that crowd bigger. You just need to let us organize. Now that we're all here, nobody thought this was really going to happen. They thought it was a joke. The only people that believed this was going to happen were the people that hopped up in those trucks and said, I'm going. Now, the next thing that's going to happen is all those people in those overpasses that were simply there, number one, to wave their flags because they love America, is to see if we really went.